That's Welcome everyone to Courageous Parenting, transforming challenges into opportunities. I'm Edith Wallach. I'm transformational leadership coach, Amazon best-selling book author, and global game changer. Also a mother of 3 beautiful children. And I would love to welcome our speaker today, Paula Kettula. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you today. As you know me, I've been in a lot of parenting summits. I've done parenting summits myself. So it's a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. So I'm really, truly honored to be here today as a guest expert.
Perfect. We are committed to empowering parents and children by building connection with love. And Paula, you will be talking today about how to master your stress as a busy parent. Perfect.
It's an important topic, and I've been really, thinking about like what's underneath of all the chaos and stress and this feeling of discomfort, feeling of unhappiness, a lot of physical, emotional, and mental challenges. Also, the underlying cause of all that is stress. And when we're stressed out, especially being stressed out as a parent, it just makes things so much harder. So that's why I feel passionate about talking about stress and teaching people how to master their stress with ease so that they can really begin to have this fulfilling, joyful life experience and live their lives with vitality. So I'm excited to dive deeper into that today.
Hello, everyone. I am Filza Jabin, parent of 3 beautiful children and transformational teen and parents leadership coach. I welcome Paula Kettula.
Thank you.
Paula is a psychotherapist, transformative leader, and expert in the field of personal development and mental health, with over 20 years of experience guiding individuals towards profound personal growth. Paula's main focus is to support people in creating optimal health and well-being as that they can live their best lives with vitality and purpose. Paula holds a master's degree in social work from San Diego State University. In addition, Paula is a certified yoga teacher and trained in EMDR, sand play therapy, and transformational leadership. Wow, amazing bio, Paula.
It just
So,
means I've been around for a long time and I'm like, okay. Just with age comes experience. Like, okay, keep adding things to my list of experiences. I love learning, so that it's learning and gaining more knowledge and information, like it said in my bio about well-being and the science of happiness. I always say that happiness doesn't just happen. Happiness is created. And that's
absolutely.
also, talking about stress and happiness are kind of like those two scales. Like how can we tip from that stress into happiness?
Yeah, that's a perfect way to start. Like, how can a parent balance it? Like, how can we transform stress into happiness? Like, as you said, happiness is created. Can you tell
Yeah.
us more about it?
Yeah. So here's the thing. A lot of people are going, including parents, most people are going all wrong about how they are trying to handle stress. The, the problem is that most of the time, people try to start controlling the external stressors. For example, as a parent, your child, especially parent of a neurodivergent kid who has ADHD, maybe autism, depression, anxiety, emotional dysregulation problems. So those are really challenging things to handle. So most of the time, when people try to start and manage stress, they go about it by trying to manage the external factors that are causing the stress. I'm going to put a little spin to it today, and we are actually going to talk about stress and a different strategy to manage stress, which is more like an inside out approach, because managing your stress has everything to do with what is your relationship to stress. So if you don't mind, I'd like to start by sharing a couple of things about stress that people don't usually know about. Would that be okay?
Perfect.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So here's the thing. Most stress, so there are stressors that are in the 3D external world, 100%. Being a parent is a very stressful experience. Kids are challenging you. There's managing work and trying to handle everything from cooking and driving kids to where they need to go, like all that kind of stuff. So there's those very real stressors, financial, relationships, and the list just goes on. And there's a huge part of stressors, the causes of stress, that don't actually exist. They only exist as a mental event in our minds. The problem is that as humans, well, it's a beautiful thing that we have a prefrontal cortex. I know that some of those parents of ADHD kids are really working hard with their children to develop that part of the brain. But this prefrontal cortex also bites us in the butt sometimes, because we start thinking about the future. This is exactly why zebras don't get ulcers. They just don't. Because the way the zebra works is it only gets kind of alert and stress, gets into a stress response if two things. If it sees the lion, and if the lion is in the close enough proximity. So it's doing the calculation, even if it sees the lion, but if the lion is far enough and knows that the lion cannot catch the zebra, it's gonna keep eating. It's not gonna go like human prefrontal cortex would go like, oh my gosh, there's a lion, I'm gonna get eaten, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then we freak out when there's no reason to freak out yet. So that we can imagine that the lion is gonna chase us and something bad's gonna happen, and that causes the stress. Zebra doesn't do that. Let's say that then it happens that the lion does get close enough and does start chasing the zebra. Zebras are really fast, so our zebra survives. Couple minutes later, the zebra kind of like prances around and maybe shakes itself. You see your dogs and cats do a lot of shaking. That's releasing stress and trauma. 2 minutes after, the zebra is fully relaxed, eating and grazing. It's not thinking like, oh, holy smoke, where is the lion? And a human mind does that, like, okay, I almost got eaten. Where is the lion? We make these mental events happen all the time instead of being fully present in the present moment and not traveling into the future or not traveling into the past. Like, my kid always does this and he is going to do this again. It's causing a lot of stress because our mind and our bodies are connected. So if I'm going to ask you right now to visualize that you're going to your fridge, you're opening the fridge, and you're taking a lemon, and you put it on the cutting board, and you cut it in half, and you already smell the lemon. And then if I'm going to ask you to cut it in quarters, take a big juicy bite out of that lemon right now, and you already notice that you have some saliva forming in your mouth.
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Of course.
Me too. And I know that's going to happen. I cannot prevent that from not happening because the mind and the body are connected. So whatever you have in your mind becomes your reality.
Yeah.
What I'm
Absolutely.
saying. So we're focusing on the wrong thing. We're focusing on the external circumstances, trying to control. We can't control the lion. Lion is going to do lion. Your kids are going to do what they're going to do, right? Of course, there's a lot of wonderful parenting strategies and ways to be with your child, but a lot of the times kids are just kids. That's what I've noticed. Like this is just child development. This is just how they operate in this world. So it's very frustrating to try to control something that is out of our control. So the invitation is focusing on your relationship with stress, transforming the way you stress, and what do you do when you feel stressed out? You know, what are your thoughts and feelings about stress? The other thing that I want to say is thinking about Navy SEALs, for example. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of Navy SEALs in my career just because I'm a psychotherapist, I'm a trauma therapist. So I work with people who have experienced horrible things, including direct combat veterans, and all kinds of terrible things. And Navy SEALs, can you imagine what would happen if a Navy SEAL would get into a stress response during a mission? Would not work out. So I wanted to start thinking about yourselves as the Navy SEAL parents, becoming a Navy SEAL, because they go through a rigorous program on how to train their bodies so that they don't go into that stress response. Because if you're a Navy SEAL and you're in stress response, you are going to jeopardize the lives of everybody in your team, including yourself. Everybody. So that's why, like, the circumstances, kids are stressful, but so is being a Navy SEAL. And Navy SEALs don't get stressed out in the moment. They train themselves not to. So if they can do it, so can you. The other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that stress is a habit. It's a habit it's like this pattern that is deeply ingrained in some of us. I'm from Finland, and I was born in the 70s in Finland. And during the Second World War, Finland was in war with Russia. And my family comes from the area where there was a Russian invasion. I grew up with my grandma telling me stories about how they had to flee in the middle of the night, leave everything. So that, and culturally, in the entire Finland, we were in this survival mode, even 30 years after the war. So my nervous system grew up with that sense of survival mode. You gotta survive, you gotta work hard, and then so that's already wired in me. Of course, then there's things that happen, like parents divorcing, trauma happening, and all these things. So my nervous system developed a habit of stress. And we just gotta recognize that that's what's going on. And just like any habit, this can be transformed. Okay? My final thing that I want to say about stress also is that just because you're stressed out, doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. That's also part of the problem. Like, oh, why am I stressed out? Like, I'm stressed out. I shouldn't be stressed out. Look at all these other parents over there. They look like they got it together. They don't get stressed out. You look at somebody's Instagram and Facebook. Oh my gosh, they have a perfect life. They have perfect parents, perfect kids. And here I am, not sleeping, not eating, barely having time to pee, barely, rushing everywhere. And then it's like, what's wrong with me? I should be able to handle things. So my invitation is to just come out of that thinking, and instead of tell yourself, like, you know what? This stress response is totally normal. It's totally normal. I love to tell people it makes sense. It makes sense that you would feel that way. It makes total sense to me. And here's what you can do about it.
Powerful. Thank you for that. So what happens if people don't manage their stress at all? They just continue being like in that fight or flight response. Yeah.
So, as most of you know, stress has tremendous physical consequences to your health, to your immune system.
Yeah.
It actually takes away 3 years out of your life expectancy. So you literally die 3 years earlier if you're experiencing chronic stress in your life. So that's pretty huge impact. So starting with that, but I want to talk about how it impacts parents, particularly. That sometimes parents don't realize that how it's really impacting you and your kids. So stress causes increased emotional reactivity. So our cup is empty. We don't have the window of tolerance and the resources to be able to meet the children's emotional needs. And they have a lot of emotional needs and a lot of things. And I know some kids, especially kids who are having mental health challenges, emotional dysregulation, attachment issues, it feels like their cups just like no matter what you do as a parent, like you just pour into them and they have a leaky cup and they still need more attention. And that's what they need. But like, where do you pull from yourself if you don't have those resources? So if you're really stressed out, parents tend to get more tense, react like more easily, being easily triggered, making the child feel unsafe and misunderstood sometimes. And it just damages the connection with the child. Also, when we are stressed out, we are not emotionally available. Like when I get into my stress mode, I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody, leave me alone. Kids come to you like you're just on your phone, just in a minute. And because oftentimes we use the social media and those cute little, animal videos as a stress release. But then a child is there feeling like, well, that's more important to my mom or dad being on the phone than being present to me. So it's really impacts our ability to be emotionally available for the child and having that empathy and attention and things like that. The other thing that parents inadvertently do is you're modeling stress. Like my mom, after the divorce, she's working 2 jobs. I never even saw her. So guess what I did when I grew up? I'm like doing all these, working really, really hard until like one day I had to choose to stop and literally just say, stop, I'm not going to live this life anymore feeling stressed out. Of course, we have like neglecting self-care and burnout. As a parent, you sacrifice your own well-being because when you don't sleep well, you don't eat well, your body starts shutting down, then you get sick. You get sick more, and then it has this ripple effect of being just physically and emotionally depleted. So you're not showing up as 100% you and who you are for your child and your family. You deserve to feel well and have a sense of well-being and happiness, and so does your child. This is why it's so important to be able to learn how to master and manage stress.
Yeah. So can you tell us few stress management strategies for our parents?
Yes. So I'm not gonna. Here's the problem. A lot of the times people think like, oh, it's just gonna be about manicures and massages, and then I'll feel better. And yes, you feel better for a couple hours, maybe one afternoon, and boom, the stress comes back, right? Just keeps coming back. So those things don't work. They don't work. They're wonderful. I'm not saying not to do them. So here's what works from what I'm suggesting and what I'm teaching, in addition to things like eat healthy, try to sleep good, take care of yourself, give yourself breaks, have some hobbies, have friends, have something that outside your kids and your family that gives you joy and passion and fulfillment in life, like those sorts of things. But really, my stress management begins with the choice, are you willing and open to live a stress-free life? Begins with that. Like, ask yourself that, like choosing that you can and that it's possible to live a stress-free life. I love this question by, I don't know if you have ever read The Big Leap by Guy Hendricks. He asks this question like, how good are you really willing to let things get? How much goodness, how much fulfillment, love, abundance, well-being are you willing to tolerate in your life? Because sometimes what we do is that we unconsciously sabotage our well-being and happiness. There's a lot of reasons why. And I also teach about those reasons when I teach people stress management, because you need to know that. But one of the reasons is like, I'm not good enough. I'm not deserving. So if one has an unconscious belief, I'm not deserving of this abundant, beautiful life, then guess what? Self-verification theory says that we are going to make whatever our belief is reality. So when things go good, we unconsciously sabotage it. I've done it many times in my life, and it just keeps surprising me, like, I did it again. So it starts with the choice. It starts with this ability to open up. Like, let's step outside of that box, because we've been boxed in that, okay, we're just somehow settling into just having a good enough life where we kind of cope with things. Yesterday, I did a reel. You can go to my Instagram where I talked about like, yeah, I don't think we should be teaching people coping skills, because when we teach people coping skills, what are we settling into? We are settling into having a life where we just kind of cope with things, versus let's learn some wellness skills. Let's learn skills to thrive. Part of your stress management is that. So it starts with that willingness. It starts with stopping manufacturing catastrophes in your head. Stopping manufacturing the idea that the lion is right there when it's not. So that you can create a little bit more space, that inherently things are already stressful. But let's not add on to that. The other thing is, and this is really important and kind of like the core of the problem of stress and how we relate to stress. It's this, we have the tendency to try to solve internal problems the same way we solve external problems. The problem is that it doesn't work in the internal world. Trying to solve internal problems with the external strategies actually makes the problem last longer, and it makes more intense. So I'm going to give an example, right? So think about, let's say that you're rushing out of the house and there is a parent-teacher important, let's say IEP, super important IEP. You have to be there on time because the school counselors, the psychologist is going to be there, the teacher is going to be, everybody's going to be there. Your life, your child's future depends on this IEP. So you rush out of the house, get on the freeway, get a flat tire. So now you're stuck. You're stuck on the side of a busy freeway, completely in stress mode, freaking out, right? So what does our mind do? So our mind does a couple things. So it first goes into this mode of like, okay, where am I? Okay, I'm stuck on the freeway. And then it goes, where do I want to be? What's the goal? What's the ultimate outcome? And it's like, I want to be in that IEP. And then it's going to go evaluate, like, what don't I want to, what do I want to avoid? What do I don't want to happen or experience? I don't want to keep being stuck on this freeway. And that works great because when the mind kind of does that sort of analysis, it looks at what's the current state, what's the desired outcome, and what do you don't want to happen. So works great, and we are able to solve that. But think about when we apply that to stress. So I want you to say these things to you as I read them, okay? So the current state, I'm stressed out. That's like, I'm stuck on the freeway. I'm stressed out. I really want to feel calm, relaxed, and peaceful, and I don't. Equivalent, I want to be in that meeting. And then the mind goes, being stressed out really sucks. I don't want to feel this way. I want it to go away. What's wrong with me? Look at all the other parents who are able to handle things and I can't. Da, 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 da. So now we have created a mess in our minds. Okay. Now, what should people do then? So I'm going to give you a second option. So that's the fixing and doing mode of the mind, trying to solve stress from that perspective. So let's try this one on. This is more of a mindful approach. So same thing. I'm stressed out. Wow. I just noticed I'm stressed out. I can take a deep breath, put hand on the heart and belly. I don't feel this stress in my body. Wow, I feel tension. My neck is kind of sore. I have a little bit of headache. It's okay to feel those things. So just being in the moment. And then the next step is ground yourself. So right now you can do this with me. You can keep breathing deeply, hand on the heart and belly, deep belly breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Push the ground away a little bit. Wiggle your toes. Move your feet from side to side. And just ground yourself in the present moment. Then the final step is having some self-compassion and validating yourself. Like, yeah, I've had all these things that happened today. Of course, I feel stressed out. It's a normal response. You know, it makes sense. And I can get through this. I am resilient. I am resourceful. I can remind myself that things can be really good in my life and I can be happy and I'm capable. And breathing that in. Now, doesn't that feel better than the first fixing doing mode of relating to stress?
Of course, we get to choose it every single time that we get stressed out. It is a choice, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Paula. And we are coming to the close of this interview, and I would love to hear your generous gift for our parents.
Yes. So since we've been talking about stress and we've been talking about how to create wellness, I created a super cool program that I'm offering for the listeners for free. And I call it Daily Drops of Joy. So, which literally means when you sign up for this program, you will get a text message every day for 20 days. It's a daily drop of joy. So those are positive affirmations. They uplift your mood and your spirits. And the idea is that, you know, you get that reminder because sometimes positive affirmations are really hard. The hardest thing is to remember to do them. So I'm sending you a text message every day and has a lot of cute little emojis too. I love the emojis. So it's like, there's this nice message here. And then all you need to remember to do is to read it out loud or in your mind, take a deep breath and embody it and remember, like, letting it sink in. You can look at the message a couple times a day and do that. And that in and of itself, you're already reinforcing and nurturing this other kind of mode in your mind. This mode of wellness and well-being and creating happiness. So to subscribe for that, all you need to do, and you can do that right now, and I think it'll be also in the email that you receive, is that you text the word joy to this number. It's 619-367-8998. 619-367-8998. That only works for US-based numbers. I don't think my system sends it if it's an international. So if you are international, then you just email me and I'll send you a PDF of all those drops of joy. And I think my email is going to be on the email that you receive, but it's info@paulakettula.lcsw.com.
We will add that to the email. Thank you
add
so
it to
really
the.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's so cute. The text messages are so cute. I signed up for it myself just to test it, and then I kept forgetting that I signed up. So every day I would receive this
joy
affirmation, like, oh wow,
it's exciting.
The other thing that I want to mention here is that if you want to dive deeper into really learning how to master your stress and really kind of like stopping doing things that don't work and doing this inside out approach where you can have a transformational experience, because the thing is, like, that which we are not transcending, we can master that. We have to transcend and master something before we can truly live that life of fulfillment and joy and vitality. So I do have a program coming up in the first part of the year that's called Calm Within, Master Modern Stressors with Ease, where I really go and teach people how to do that based on, my talk today. So I have a wait list, and let's put that link on that email as well, so that people can click on the link and get on the wait list. So when I open the program, you will be notified. You're going to be one of the first people to be notified.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thank you for your generosity, your knowledge, and telling us about being zebra. Embodying zebra. That's all.
Yeah, let's not get ulcers. Let's be zebras. Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's hard to train a human brain into a zebra brain, but still, that was a good example.
We can have best of both worlds. Like, let's hold on to our prefrontal cortex, but let's also be in the present moment. And that's a skill. That's a skill.
That's a skill.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys putting this together for parents and empowering parents to be courageous.
Thank you so much for being our speaker, and have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.